Good morning to some. It's got to be morning somewhere, right? Let me go ahead and get my screens pulled up here. So this is a live execution session. I'm gonna be looking to take positions, and I'll walk through, what I'm looking for, and everything like that. So let's go ahead and share my screen. All right. So first off, I trade gold futures. Um, That's the first asset I like to trade is gold futures. I used to trade XAUUSDs like on the forex side of things where I was trading gold. But one of the things that I absolutely love when it comes to futures is being able to manipulate my not my risk, but if you know about XAUUSD, it's super volatile. Um, And within that volatility, it allows for a lot of opportunity, but then also exposes you to a lot of risk. And so, like the capital that I trade with on my live account, my live Forex account, which is also what I'll be trading, it it just it was just too risky for me to continue trading XAU USD with the amount of capital that I'm trading with, right? So I have two different live Forex accounts. I have one that is, and man, as you see here, it's like I got two different ones. So I got one with about $90 in it, and I have another one with about $96 in it. This was at 100, but I took an L yesterday on GJ, and so actually it's funny because I just put this $100 away in this account. Um, and I always look at so the two forex pairs that I trade are USD JPY and GJ, right? And so I was trading UJ the other day, and I took the position, but I wanted to take a position on GJ as well, and I was like, damn, like my margin, I can't take another position because my margin is capped out on this UJ trade. 'Cause I normally trade about on UJ about 1,500 units of currency, which is equivalent to like a 0.015, but you can't trade 0.015 on like a normal account. Um, and when I mean normal account, like the accounts that make you do a lot size, um, like you can't do that on like a 0.015. So and it's just easier for me to read. Like I know on GJ and UJ, like I've got it to the point to where I know how many units of currency, basically my lot size. I know what lot size I need to use to be able to say, okay, if GJ moves 72 pips, it's going to be about $7. So it's just easier for me to read, easier for me to understand what I'm risking. But I was trying to do that the other day, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can, because on my futures account, like I can trade multiple accounts. So I have another combine as well. So I have two trading combines on my futures account, and so I want to see if I can do that on my forex side of things, and I can. So super dope. Um, but yeah, I trade GJ on the forex side, UJ on the forex side, and those are live accounts. So that's my money, my capital, and then on the other side, like I said, I trade gold futures and I also trade Nasdaq futures. But I do the micro. I don't mess with the once again just being able to manipulate my risk. Like I don't need to trade just gold futures because if you know anything about futures, it's like I want to say it's like $100 per point on gold futures. $100 per point. So this move right here, like on gold futures, I'd be risking, what is that, like $1,700 right there. And so, based on how much I'm willing to risk on each trade, that's just honestly not needed. Like that, I don't need to do that. So, I'm able to manipulate my risk on gold futures. Also, when I trade the Nasdaq, I trade MNQ. So I believe with normal NQ, it's $25 per point, right? And if you just look at a small move like this, $25 per point, that's 111 points. It's just not something that I need to do. Like, so That's what we're gonna be looking at today. You're gonna see me flipping between MNQ, which is the Nasdaq. You're gonna see me flipping between gold futures, and then you're gonna see me flipping between my forex pairs as well. And so, yeah, um, I shared some stuff on our community. If you're not in our trading community, that's fine. I'm pretty sure I put a link in the bio on this live here. But if you're not trading in our community, I think Q may even be live right now in our community, um, doing something, trading as well. Not doing something, but trading as well. Um, but I know we've seen the headlines about Fed Powell and Trump and possibly firing Trump. So I was just reading over that today. There's a Reuters article. It was actually this one right here, this Reuters article that I was reading. This one right here, just on what's really going on and how my main thing that I want to understand is how can it impact the market, either if he does get fired, if he resigns, if he lives out his term. I just want to understand how it's going to impact the market, because as headlines come out like this, that's going to fluctuate sentiment, right? And so I use this to read sentiment. Baby Pips, shout out Baby Pips for putting this together. Even though there's other things that I look at, like the volatility index, like the 10-year treasury yields, like the DXY, to be able to understand how risk is shifting. But then just like an easy meter to be able to say, okay, market is closer to risk on right now than it is risk off. And so that being the case, when I pull up the pairs that I'm trading, the pound is a risk on currency. And so I would be looking for, like today, what I'm looking for right now on this live is I'm looking for the pound to go up. I'm looking for GJ to move upwards. And so since we're on that right now, all right, I got this. I'll pull up my 15-minute chart. I got my 15-minute decision making level right here. And so I don't like trading in between levels like this, because why? That's only 29 pips of movement. If you've heard me talk about decision making levels before, if you haven't, that's all good. So I look at these levels as force fields and magnets. And so since price is where it is right now, we're closer to this decision making level. And so this decision making level would be acting as a force field in this scenario, meaning it prevents it from going down. And so on the other side of that, this decision making level would be acting as a magnet, pulling price towards it. But since it's such a small space, like I'm not chasing that. I'm not chasing that play at all. What I'm waiting for is for price to break this level, right? And then I'm taking it to my next decision making level, which is my TP1. And you see that I entered a trade. This was on Tuesday. You see we pushed up, but didn't hit my TP1, and that's how I took that L right there. So that's what I'm looking for right now on GJ. I'm just waiting for that break. And so as we move closer and closer into London, ideally I get the break when I'm on this live, just so you guys can see me take an execution. I did this live for 10, 15, just because, I know opportunities come in around this time frame. Between now and 12 a.m. I will get a position to be able to take. Now, I probably won't be on this live until 12 a.m., but who knows? Maybe I will. But ideally, like I said, I get a position that I can take on this call today, on this live call. And so that's literally what I'm looking for right there. Like, that's my setup. Why? Because my confirmations are going to come in right around as we break this decision making level. And so if all my confirmations are present, I'm taking that. I can play around my stop loss, right? Like I can have a tight stop, like, but at the end of the day, I'm identifying structure, right? And so the fact that this decision making level right over here, this 15-minute decision making level where my stop loss is at, the fact that that's only 30 pips away from where my entry would come from, I'm cool with risking 30 pips. That's about $3, right? I'm cool with risking that. I'm even cool with risking 60 pips. But then what I don't like is my risk to reward. So my risk to reward is not a 2 to 1. I don't have an exact risk to reward that I'm looking to get every single time. But I have a threshold for how much I'm willing to risk, right? And so in this case, 61 pips, I'm okay risking that. But the fact that if I risk 61 pips, I'm not really gaining, like my risk to reward ratio is not significant, then I'm not gonna risk that. I'm not gonna risk that. Um, and so I'm gonna stay with this. This is gonna be what I look for right here. Because at the end of the day, if price ends up breaking below this area, there's a chance that it can continue lower. So I like this. I like this setup right here. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for right here. And like that's my TP1. I have a 15-minute decision making level above that, but and so hypothetically, let's say I wanted to risk that 60 pips. That's a solid risk to reward ratio right there. I'm cool with that as well. However, I'm not looking to get 220 pips on a move. Like, can I get 220 pips on a move? Yeah, sure. Is there a chance that price, moves from my entry point up 220 pips? Yeah, definitely. But I'm not looking to get 100% of a move, right? I just want my piece of the pie, right? That's it. I just want my piece of the pie. And so to be able to risk only 30 pips to get 100, that's more my cup of tea right there. So that's what I'm looking for on GJ. Ideally, we get something like this, right? And we take off. As my execution starts nearing, and we can even talk about it right now. So I'm looking at so on my 5-minute chart, I'm looking at the bottom. I see my MACD, right? We've already lost seller's volume on my MACD. What does that mean? We've lost the strength for price to push down, right? Or where we're showing signs that we are losing strength for price to put down because we went from these dark black bars, which means strong sellers volume, to light gray. Light gray means sellers are losing strength, pushing price down, and buyers could be potentially stepping in. And so seeing that, we may get an entry here pretty soon. And then the next thing I'm looking for is my lagging line. If you're familiar with Ichimoku Cloud, this white line right here, I'm looking for this white line to break above price, probably right at about this area. So when I said that my confirmation to enter is going to come in most likely at the break of my 15-minute decision making level, as I've seen this easily over 1,000 times, in regards to live execution and even back testing. um, I can just see what it looks like, where my entries could potentially come in, right? Like I'm not just guessing, right? And now is that going to be 100% accurate every time for me to say, oh, my entry is going to come in right here? No, but I'd probably say about 85% of the time where I'm looking for my entry to come in based on how I'm seeing structure from price and structure from my confirmations, as well as how it lines up with my decision making levels, as well as how it follows the fundamentals. Like that's where I get that decision making process from. So I don't spend much time like looking for a setup. Not gonna say looking for a setup, but I don't spend much time. Um, like it doesn't take me a lot of time to figure out what my setup looks like or where my entry could come in. Like I did this literally in like 2 seconds. Why? Because I just am familiar with my system and I'm familiar with the structure of price and just how it just all pieces together. So moving forward, I'll start talking a little bit too much on that. And man, if you don't know, I do ramble sometimes. Definitely find myself pull myself out of a handful of different rabbit holes, but it's all relevant information though. I'm doing this live. We're going to be doing these lives a little bit more, at least once a week, just to give you more insight on what we're looking for, like perspective, like true, raw, uncut insight for how I'm thinking, and you'll be able to see me take these entries if it comes up. So that's what I'm looking for on GJ. I'm gonna flip it over to UJ now and see what UJ is looking like. See what UJ's looking like. And let me switch this too because it'll give you a chance to see the entry I took on UJ the other day. So I took a buy over here on UJ, and you can just kind of see like where my entry came in right here. But as far as like how that lines up with my confirmations, you should be able to kind of see what I'm looking for. Um, but I was targeting this imbalance fill. I wanted the complete imbalance fill. And as you see, like we barely missed filling that imbalance. And that's actually where my TP was at. My TP was at this 149.2 level, like to fill that entire area of imbalance. But as we see, price barely missed it. And so it didn't fill that imbalance completely. However, look at that, man. That's crazy, actually. This is what it would look like right here. So I wanted to leave my imbalance up because I knew I was going to do this live. So I wouldn't leave this orange box there anymore like that. I would simply do something like that, right? Because that's where that wick came to. And so now that's the only imbalance that's left in price at this level, right? And so I anticipate that imbalance getting filled completely, right? If we do get buys coming in. And so my next target area, if I get my entry to come in, is going to be this decision making level up here, right? This decision making level up here. So that's what I'm looking for on UJ. So we'd be looking at about, yeah, and that's once again, that's 183 pips, and I'm not going to be targeting 183 pips. Like there's just no need for me to do that. So what I'm looking for now is I'm gonna look for a decision-making level somewhere in this area on the way to that target to see where price could stop at. And I already see it right here. Three candle structure, boom. And so that's actually where I'd be targeting, given the fact I get an entry to come in. Now I did see this on my one hour right here. I got these decision making levels here, three candle structure, three candle structure. All right, I'll take that one. And so I don't like an entry before we get to this level, right? Before we get to this level. So I'm okay waiting for price to move 59 pips, break this 1 hour decision making level, and then I will take the buy off of that level, right? Off of that level. So now I'm still getting 93 pips on this trade, but now I'm not trying to trade through what I call a force field, what most traders call resistance, which is the same term. I just don't really like support and resistance because, you know, once you break resistance, resistance turns support. Once you break support, support turns resistance. And I just don't, that was really confusing for my brain when I first started trading. And now I understand it easily, but when I first started trading, that was hella confusing for my brain, like for real. And so decision making levels, though, like it just puts it in a more practical frame of mind for me. And so I'm able to understand that a lot better. And so does magnets and force fields, like that concept. I like that concept way more. Uh, But so going down to my lower time frame, yeah, that's what I'd be waiting for. Because at the end of the day, right? Where it looks like my entry is going to come in if I wanted to take a trade prior to it breaking this level is somewhere around here. And so if I wanted to take that entry as my confirmation came in, that would be about 35 pips. 35 pips, that's a decent amount of movement, like because it all depends on how much capital you're risking, how much capital you have to risk. And so 35 pips, man, that's some people's, monthly salaries if they have the capital to trade that. But I'm not looking for that move right there just because it's not enough movement for me because price doesn't have to move all the way to this 1 hour decision making level. Can it? Does it? Yes, it moves to these levels, stops at these levels, then moves sideways. It even moves through these levels, corrects, and then continues upwards. Right. So it's not to say that it can't happen, but it reduces my risk. It reduces how I feel about a trade, how risky I feel about a trade. And every trade that I take, every single trade that I take, I want to make sure that I am taking a trade when it feels as least risky as possible because of X, Y, and Z. So, and one of those variables when it comes to X, Y, and Z is decision making levels. So I won't be taking that trade on UJ, which is fine because I have another opportunity to take that follows the same fundamental that I'm looking for, right? Follows the same thing. So what I'm gonna do actually, because I don't want to sit, I want to go on gold, but I also don't want to miss what I'm looking for. I'm gonna set an alarm for my lagging line when it breaks above my conversion line, which is my purple line on the chart. And so I set an alarm just now for when this line, this white line, my magnet on, when this white line breaks above this purple line, my computer is going to alert me. And that's how I'll know, okay, switch over to GJ and see if an opportunity is coming in. So yeah, let me see if I got anybody on this live stream. Yeah, my boy Q on the live stream. Bro, I'm crying. He said, can't confirm. This is not satire. I gotta switch this, bro. I hate this mirroring thing. Let me just my pull up this chart that way I can switch over to here. But nah, bro, Q, I'm crying. Bro, that TP miss was crazy. And the beautiful thing about it, I got my trailing stop in there, so I was in infinite profit no matter what. But um, the more we started correcting off of it, I was like, all right, let me just put my trailing stop right here. Whatever happens, happens. I'm good with it. Um, but bro, if you guys see in the chat right now, there's somebody that watched one of my YouTube videos that we posted, that I posted on our page. They thought it was clickbaity and that I literally looked like Satan. I said, bro, what? I didn't even respond. I didn't even like it. I didn't even acknowledge that comment. Bro is tripping. Like, come on, man. But I didn't think it was clickbaity. I mean, I was talking about the DXY and how that and how we can use that to reprice. I haven't gotten to the DXY yet, but I probably won't on this live. I won't get into the DXY at all. Um, Not because I don't want to, but just because I understand the context right now. Like I'm not going to be looking at the DXY right now. But let's see what gold's talking about. So gold moving downwards. I did see that tomorrow. You can't see my chart right now or the screen I'm looking at right now, but I'm looking at Forex Factory. Tomorrow we have retail sales, core retail sales, and retail sales month over month. So I was doing a little bit of research on how those could impact the market. And so I think this is just my thought. Um, the market could be if we continue higher on if we continue higher on gold, or if we continue lower on gold, excuse me, that's what I'm projecting on this session right now, just because the market may be pricing in, combined with the baby pips meter I showed a second ago with the risk on, risk off. Like we're in risk on right now. One of those things driving that could be because of core retail sales that is releasing tomorrow and retail sales that are releasing tomorrow. And because the forecast right now is showing the previous month was at negative zero point 0.3 and the forecast is at positive zero point 0.3. And so that's showing what? That's like a 0.6% growth. And so I think the market may be already pricing in um, that we get an indicator that economic print that shows economic growth. And so if economic growth is there, then this restricts the Fed from wanting to cut rates. And so that then has a negative effect on, I'm not gonna say negative effect, but it has some it puts some sell pressure on gold because when the Fed doesn't look to cut rates or the market thinks the Fed will hold rates higher and longer or increase rates, that then causes the treasury yield. Yeah, this is gonna be an issue. I'm gonna have to bring up my that way I'm not switching back and forth. Um that then causes the treasury yields, which is something that I'm looking at. Oh my gosh, what is happening? My treasury yields. It then causes treasury yields to move up. And if treasury yields move up, gold's gonna move down. Like that's you can go back test that as many times as you want. Every time you see treasury yields move up, gold's moving down. Every time you see treasury yields move down, gold's moving up. And so if we do, man, there's so many freaking things that I can talk about right now. But so like this is what I'm looking at right now. So let's say we do get this forecast, right? And bro, my brain is I gotta stay with me on this call because the more I think about stuff, I literally want to just spill everything. Like, not that I have anything to not share, um, but it takes me away from what I was talking about because I want to talk about something else. And so just know that the forecast for this tomorrow is at a point 3 and a point 1, which is showing significant growth from the previous month. And so if we get something greater than this point 3, that's going to show that's going to support growth in our economy, which is going to have a negative effect on gold or a downward effect on gold, let me say, which is going to cause those yields to go up, which is going to cause the dollar to go up, which is going to cause my risk on pairs to go up. Okay. Because gold's a risk off asset. The yen is a risk off asset, right? So I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm gonna just leave that there because I can't keep going down these rabbit holes, man. I can't keep doing it. Um, so yeah. So yeah, I think that's what I try not to have a bias for as far as like I just normally like to watch the execution unfold. Let me get out of here. I don't use trade locker anymore. I normally just like to watch my execution unfold and then before my execution even comes in, like I've already aligned my fundamental sentiment. Um, and so I try not to say, yeah, I'm looking for, you know, price to only do this because I'm also like I'm also looking for whatever opportunity presents itself to me. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I prefer not to trade against the fundamental. I prefer to not. Will I? Yes, because fundamentals they move intraday markets, are what we're doing right now, but they also have like a long-term perspective. So not all the time will the long-term fundamental perspective move with those intraday markets. And that's where you get, what I would look at as like manipulation, because the fundamental perspective is telling us that we're going to go up, but the last 2 days of trading we've been doing the opposite. And so I still want to be able to take those opportunities, but as long as I know what I'm doing and not just guessing is where I'll take that opportunity. But um yeah, as I do this more, I'll be able to articulate my thoughts better. Normally I just keep all of this stuff in my brain and then I have conversations in there. Don't look at me. Don't look at the camera crazy. You guys all have conversations in your brain as well. But so this is gold. I actually like what I'm seeing on gold right now. I like what I'm seeing right now. All I need is if I can get a shift from my lead span B in the downward direction, I might take that. It's about 14 points. That'd be about $280 um, in profit, because I'd be looking to take it to this decision making level. So yeah, I may look to take that if I can get this shift. Let me see my 15 minute. 15 minute relativity is not an issue. So my MACD down here, like it's gotten lower before, and so it's not an issue for me right now. Like I'm getting fresh volume on this 15 minute. Haven't got that shift yet, even though price is pushing down. Right, I haven't got that shift yet. And trust me, there's been plenty of times where I've taken a trade and I haven't, like my confirmations have not come in like perfectly. It should be perfect. The execution should look perfect. And so when it's not perfect and I take a trade, have I profited? Yes. But I can tell you that I have felt the losses more than I've felt the profits when I do that. And so this is me being patient. This is me being disciplined. This is me not having any like sense of FOMO, like seeing price push down because my confirmations are not present. I'm literally waiting for one thing to happen right now, and that's the shift of this lead span B. All I need is to shift in that 4 to 5 o'clock direction, and you're gonna see me take this sell position. So that's what I'm looking for on gold right now. Let me get my iPad real quick. Just to make sure I'm not missing nothing in the chat. And I can't stand seeing that screen mirror thing. See what I mean? Like prices is there's something going on around this level, and it'll be really easy for me to figure out what's going on at this level because I can guarantee whether it's in this area or whether it's further back that there is a decision. There is my three candle structure that I'm looking for somewhere in this area. So when I say force fields and magnets, when I'm talking about like 4 hour decision making levels, 15-minute decision making levels, when I see this stuff happening from price, like we're getting all this, I know for and let's just look. I already see a few on my 5 minute. Okay. Let's go ahead and mark them up so you guys know what I'm looking at. Three candle structure. What is the three candle structure? Three candle structure is when the first candle within that three candle structure is the smallest candle. It's when the second candle in that three candle structure is a different color. And so I'm just going to use the terms that I want you to get familiar with. And so in this case, we have a bullish candle, which is the smallest candle, and it's going to be at the beginning. It's going to start our three candle structure. And then the next candle is going to be a bearish candle, but it's going to be it's going to be like the middle child. It's not going to be the smaller of the three. It's going to be the second smallest. And then we have another bullish candle, which is going to be the candle what most traders refer as an engulfing candle. But I don't care for those terms. Like to be completely honest, like I just don't care for them. So DML, decision making level. When I say decision making level, I'm referring to this three candle structure. Okay. And so I see one right there, see one right here. So I have two decision-making levels on this 5-minute chart right at an area, and whenever I mark up my horizontal red, I put it on the third candle every time. Why? Because that's the candle that completes my decision-making level. And so I see that at this level, we are getting some type of quote unquote resistance. We're getting some type of decision making going on at this level. That's why we refer to it as a decision making level, because a decision isn't being made, whether that's to continue downwards, whether that's for buyers to step in. Like this is an area where buyers are making a decision to step in. And so we just like it's just I look at it as the sign language of the market. When I say decision making levels, that's what I look at decision making levels for. But even if I keep going back in time, like bro, I can find so many decision making levels, right? Boom, three candle structure, decision making level. I can keep going back in time, three candle structure, decision making level. And just tell me it's not ironic. And maybe it's just some weird random coincidence that I figured out to be a pattern, but it's at the same level. Like these are all at the same level. Like if I just take this line all the way through, like they all touch each other. Like, come on, that can't be a coincidence. That can't be a coincidence, right? Even if I look decision making level, right? And it's just all at the same area, So that's what I'm looking at. And when I say decision making level, because you're probably gonna hear me talk about decision making levels just forever, and I say forever because I'm gonna trade, until forever, until I'm not on this earth anymore. I'm going to trade. Um, so grateful for this opportunity to be able to do this, but that's what I'm looking at, and that's why main reason I was talking about that. That's why it's important for me to be patient for my confirmations to come in. Now, could my confirmations have come in and this still happen? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I could have got my shift. I would have taken my sell, and we could have still got this. We could have still gotten this type of um rejection from buyers. Like that could have happened 100%. And I'm okay with that because it's a game of probabilities. However, I just want to make sure that I'm controlling what I can control, and that's making sure I'm following my plan to a T. And so if I took that entry and I was not following my plan to a T, there would be like I would be able to say, okay, this worked out because of me. This didn't work out because of me. This didn't work out just because of my edge failed. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't work out because I failed to follow my plan. My last YouTube video, I failed to follow the POP, the process over the profit, right? And trust me, there's been plenty of times where I've chased profits over the process. But I see that thing moving down. That thing is moving up. I'm like, bro, I gotta take this. No, we need to be patient. If I don't get an opportunity on this call, I'm good with that. Like I'm gonna live with that. I can't believe it's already 10:53. There's no way that time's right. I've been on this call for 38 minutes already, bro. Heck no. That's how you know I'm rambling. Yeah, I'll probably sit here until about 11:30. And if I don't get an entry by 11:30, then I'm done. Thinking about the probability that forecast is bro, yes. And yeah, that forecast was crazy. And so to Q's point, he was talking about the forecast of like this jump. That's going from negative 0.9% to a positive 0.1. That's almost a 10% jump from the previous month. And this is just retail sales. So the difference between core retail sales and retail sales is retail sales includes auto, And it's maybe one other thing that it includes. I actually just shared it in the community. But it for sure includes auto, and auto tends to make the retail sales more volatile. So let me find the post. I literally just posted it. Um, not that one. Is it this one right here? You know what? You know what we can do? Watch this. You just click on the little folder, but right here. So yeah, it excludes auto. So the normal retail sales includes auto, which makes these numbers more volatile, which is why you see them all over the place. Now, does that mean it doesn't matter? No. It just means this has more of a intraday impact on the market. So these will cause significant spikes like on a day to day. This core retail sale is gonna give us more of a long term projection. And so that jump is wild to see that. And so let's say that this number comes out negative point 0.3, right? That means that it'll be about negative 0.4% off of the forecast. And even though negative point 0.9 to negative point 0.3 is still a good jump from last month, the market cares about the differential, the difference between what the forecast is versus the actual result. It's not necessarily about the growth month over month that the market responds to. The market responds to the actual data and its difference between the forecast. And so that's what I'll be paying attention to come tomorrow morning. Um, when that data comes out, and then when of course we got unemployment claims, we got the Philly Fed. So I mean, those releases come out at 5:30. So I want to be on the market at that time, but I'm not looking to take. I'm not just gonna like the moment I see that release, I'm not just gonna react to that release. I'm gonna let the market breathe for a second. I'm gonna be looking at my my DXY, right? I mark up my DXY. As you can see, I'm gonna be looking at this. My trend, where's my trend? There it goes. Um, you see this major spike. You know where this came from? This came from the uh the Trump fire and Fed Powell. Like this is like that was just a headline. Isn't that wild? Like that was just a headline and it caused this. But like I'm not ignoring that this is here because there's gonna be a point in time where we move down to this level. When does that happen? I have no idea, but I definitely know that this is an area that price is gonna come attack. How else do I know that? Decision making level. Decision making level. Right there on the 1 hour. That's the 1 hour chart. Decision making level. And maybe I'm just crazy. And maybe this is just a very, very large coincidence. But I've seen these coincidences way too many times for me to just say it's a coincidence. Like for a reaction like this to happen and for it to stop right at a decision making level. Like oh, there we go. I'm getting my GJ. I'm getting my GJ alarm going off. That's because my lagging line just crossed the conversion line right here. And so, yeah, I would love an entry. I would love to get an entry right there. Let me see what gold's doing. Gold's rejecting. And so, okay, this is beautiful right here. So, gold is supposed to be moving down. If if GJ is moving up, gold should be moving down. Why? Because the Great Britain pound is a risk on asset. And so if I get a bullish move from GJ, I'm not taking a buy on gold, even if a entry comes in, because there's going to be some point during that move when I'm in that buy on gold where it corrects and starts moving down. Like and that's one thing I love about the market. Like it's really hard for the market to manipulate me at this point. Just because like there's just things that we can follow. And let me say this: are there times where, like I just said, GJ is moving up and gold's moving up? Yes, I'm sure that we can find opportunities where that's happened. But as far as what limits my risk, it is more risky for me to take a trade like that than for me to just be patient and wait for the next opportunity. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point of having macro understanding and fundamental understanding. That is the point, right? And so, on the other side of that, if I get gold doing what I want, doing not necessarily what I want, but what it should be doing in correspondence to a risk on asset, in correspondence to a risk on market, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. As long as it's following my VXT, following the VXT strategy that we trade at Bloom, as long as it's not running into any decision making levels, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. What is due for a correction? Yeah, no, I definitely feel you. I definitely feel you on that. Yeah, there's something called the commitment of traders that I've been trying to follow more, and just gain more understanding on, which just I have this freaking spreadsheet I'll show you real quick, where like it talks about like the players within the market. So you got hedge funds, you got prop desks and family offices, whatever the hell that means. You know, no idea what that means. Bullion banks, I've once again no idea what that means. I'm just looking at, but I just want to understand like the different groups of people that involve with this market, and primarily this what you're looking at right now is primarily for gold. You got miners and jewelers, and you see like oh their positions. Every Friday a new commitment of trader report comes out, and it says like, okay, hedge funds they cut their long positions by 1,000, and increase their short positions by 5,000, and like depending on how money is flowing, it just gives us signals for what could happen in the future. So I'm trying to figure out how to put that together in my brain. That's something that I don't incorporate it. I pay attention to it now just to see how it shows up in the market. Um, but it's not something that I incorporate as a confirmation yet. But it's definitely something that I will, because it's just another indication of how money is flowing. So, but this is looking good so far. This is looking beautiful. This is looking beautiful. If I can get this break with a shift of my lead span B, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. My risk, I'm looking for something like this. My risk, and so this is a great example of just how I manage my risk. And so just per our VXT strategy, like if this lagging line, this white line breaks above this lead span B, like that would be an exit confirmation. So if I take a sell and this lagging line breaks above this blue line right here, lead span B, then that would be an exit confirmation. But if I get my entry right here, that's about 8 points. And so I trade two contract sizes um, on gold. And so that'd be about $160, right? which I'm comfortable risking that, but I'm also comfortable risking $220. So this is where I would have my risk. This is where I'd have my stop loss. At this, and where am I putting it? At my 4-hour decision making level, because I've been stopped out before from me putting my stop loss here. Am I afraid of being stopped out? No, that's not the point. The point is, what can I do to increase my chances on this trade? That's about a 1-to-1, which I'm cool with that. Ideally, higher the better, of course, but I'm cool. I'm cool with the 1-to-1. As price moves down here to this 1-hour decision making level, if I plan on staying awake, depending on how quickly it moves, and I'm getting my shift right now, so I'm waiting for this candle close. 4 minutes left in this candle. Actually, I'm taking that. I'm taking that. I got my shift on leave span B, right? You see that? Price came down to this decision making level area, right where you see this horizontal ray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, look at how many touches it gave me here. And now we're finally breaking. And the reason I said I wanted to wait till candle close, is because you see we broke on this candle, but then we corrected, which is why I'm comfortable putting my stop loss here, because as we see, even though it broke here and corrected, right, I would have gotten stopped if I took this entry right here and put my stop loss, right? Like if I was over here and I took this entry on this break of this white candle and I put my stop loss right here, I would have got stopped out, right? I'd have got stopped out. But I'm getting my GJs going off. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let me get that. Be patient. I do have my shift though. Lead span B. Let me make sure 15-minute relativity is good. Yep, 15-minute relativity solid. Let's take that. Which account is this? Nope, I don't want that account. I want this one. Take that one too. Stop loss. Slide my stop loss right there. 38 pips. At my decision making level. Take profit. CP1. That's what I'm looking at right now. I like the way that looks. I would just wait and just see what happens. I'll let price hit my take profit or my stop loss. If I'm still awake as we move to this area, I will look to collect. And so I did a 1,400 units of currency on this one. And so as we move to this take profit, if I'm still awake, then I'll probably close out half of that. So I'll close out 700 units of currency, or just depending on what I want to do. But then to ride the rest to my decision making level. But I'm on a $96 account, $96 account, $8 in profit. I'll be about 9%. Be about 9% of my account just on that trade. And so, in the light of compound interest, and in light of VXT, I mean, I'm looking to really just get 3% a day. But that doesn't mean I'm going to limit myself to 3% a day. Like this is a base. This is a proper risk is proper. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but I just wanted to paint the long term perspective when it comes to anybody viewing this and they're like, you only made $8 on that. Okay. I mean, if I do that for 100 trades, maybe lose some here and there, my account's gonna grow. You're gonna see this $96 add a few digits. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. I like this. Let's go ahead and put my stop loss in on this one. Put my stop loss in. So that'll be about. All right, get this out the way. What I say is about 220. So it's gonna actually be 246 is where my how much I'm risking on this trade. 246. If you see in my top left corner, this is a $50,000 funded account. And so me risking $200, I'm still in profit on my funded account. I'm still above my baseline, which is $50,000. Like I'm comfortable with that. Comfortable with that. Take profit. It's about a 1-to-1. 1-to-1 on this trade. I'm cool with that. Thinking about the probability of dollar moving price pricing. Thinking about the probability of dollar moving pricing in higher, pushing go down. Core retail sales presents a promising forecast. Either way, opportunity to wait. Need to do some more puzzling for sure. For sure. And then you look at the yields, right? You see we're possibly getting our treasury yields to push up. And so as it should be, gold's pushing down at this moment. Could it is it gonna stay like that? I don't know. I'm simply just following my process. I didn't go against anything that I look at. I'm not acting out of my process at all right now. And so we're about 38 minutes, 48 minutes into a London session. As we move closer and closer to London, we'll start to see volatility pick up. We'll start to see volatility pick up. Let's see what Nasdaq's doing. I would have loved to take that right there. That was a nice. The thing is, the Nasdaq, we've been at all-time highs with this Nasdaq. So I've been a little weary of chasing buys. I ain't gonna lie. It's like these are all-time highs up here. These are all-time highs. But that's still like you can kind of see it, right? Like based on what I look for to enter, white line above our lead span B, price above everything else. If you're not familiar with this black line, this is a VWAP. This is an institutional type of indicator, volume weighted price, average price. And so like this is beautiful. Like this, my entry probably would have came in somewhere around here. Stop loss would have been somewhere around there, right? But what I don't like, and I could probably find something over here. I don't like when I don't have target areas. When I don't have an area that I'm targeting for price to move, that's when I don't like to take trades in that direction. So let's see if we got a decision. Oh, would you look at that? Would you just look at that three candle structure, bro? Like, come on, guys. Like, there's no way this is a coincidence, right? Like Tell me if I'm crazy. If you think I'm crazy, that's fine. Sometimes I think I'm a little bit crazy. But there's no way this is a coincidence. Three candle structure. Three candle structure. Like, there's no way this is a coincidence. And so that's where I would be targeting. I'd be targeting this top one here. So that would have been my entry on MNQ. And this will happen too. Like if you notice this, if you notice something like this, consider this to be a very strong area. When you see, like if we take this black candle out of the picture, if we just pretend this black candle's not there, this is the decision making level with bullish, bearish, bullish, right? Bullish, bearish, bullish. That's the decision making level. But then you see a bearish come in on that and then turn it into another decision making level. Oh, that's a strong area. That's a strong area. Not to mention, just like the last three, six, eight candles, they have been decision making levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this area for me is hella strong. And so if we break this area, I'm convinced that we're going to keep going higher. If we move towards this area and then we start doing something like this, right? I'm convinced this thing is going to drop, right? Like if we get to this area and then we start just moving sideways, I'm convinced that this thing is going to drop. And the beautiful thing about it, I'm not going just off of technicals. And so even though that's a tech what I just shared with you just now is a technical analysis. So if I see fundamentals that go against that technical analysis, I will take buys, right? I will take buys. I don't let my technical analysis like make the decision for me. You know what I'm saying? Like my technical analysis is just like it's just a confirmation. And like I mentioned a second ago, am I comfortable taking trades where my technical what I'm looking for technically is going against the overall fundamental trend? Yes, I am comfortable doing that as long as I have proper risk. But those type of trades will are just automatically, in my opinion, more risky, but I'm comfortable with that risk. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, as I do this more and more and more, I'll be able to articulate my thoughts a lot clearer. I apologize if I'm not making complete sense, but I hope I'm making a little bit of sense uh, for what I'm showing you right now. But oh snap, that's not what we want. As we can see, still in profit. If you look at my lead span B, right now it's flatlined. Does that mean I'm going to exit because it's flatlined? No, because the only thing that I care about when it comes to this is my entry. I'm only looking for the shift in the angle on my entry. It doesn't have to stay like that throughout the entire move because as you see, when we like during this move, there are periods of time where it will flatline. You know what I'm saying? Where it will flatline, then it'll trend down some more. Then it will flatline, then it'll trend down some more. You know what I'm saying? So as long as on my entry, my confirmation is there, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Same goes for my MACD. Like when I entered, we had strong sellers volume. Does that mean when we get weak sellers volume that I'm going to exit? No, that doesn't. That's not what that means. I'm going to ride this out until stop loss is hit. That's when I'll exit this trade. Or, or let's say that my stop loss does not get hit and I am in this trade tomorrow morning. As we approach our 5:30 news, I will exit no matter where I'm at. no matter where I'm at, because it could go one or two ways. And I literally blew my funded account. What was that, like 2 weeks ago? By staying in a trade when NFP hit. I blew the whole thing. And so I learned from my lessons. That's what they're for. They're for learning. So I'm not, I would, and that's the or. That's the only time, not the only time, but that's one reason why I would exit a trade prior to my stop loss getting hit is if I was running into news and I was still in an entry. So, but yeah, it's about 11:20 right now. Um, I'll stay on here for another 5-10 minutes. Just see what price is doing. Let's take a look at UJ. There's that UJ break, but this is the entry that I said I was not going to take because of it's not enough movement for me. Like it's not enough area. It's not enough space for price to move. 37 pips, 36 pips. Don't get me wrong, that's good movement, but it increases the risk on this trade for me because what could happen is price will do this. Dead serious, bro. And then boom. Like, dead serious. Price will do that. And so there's not enough reward for me to sit through to allow that to happen. Because at the end of the day, if I were to take this is about where my stop loss would be. Like, look at my risk to reward. It's just not significant enough. You know what I'm saying? And I know I am taking a 1-to-1 right now on gold. However, we're talking about different capital, right? And that's where the capital comes into play for me. Like I am okay with taking a 1-to-1 when that 1-to-1 is $200 versus a 1-to-1 when that reward is $3. You know what I'm saying? Not that $3, because I just said a second ago, like 3% a day. That's about $3 with my account size. Um, but I'm just okay with being patient. Like I can't stress enough like how far I've come as a trader and the level of patience that I'm able to have with not forcing plays and rushing plays and taking every opportunity. Um, because even as I mark this up, let's say a little girl just woke up. Let's say price did move to this level. Like that's gonna validate my analysis. Like that's a win for me. It's a win that I was patient and didn't take the trade, and it's a win that it actually worked out. Like I'm like that's a not a good feeling, but I put that in the winners column. You know what I'm saying? Because it's following fundamentals, right? Like everything's in line, right? So that's validating. But oh man, look at this. Look what's about to happen right now. Do you guys see it? Come on. I know you see it. Look what's about to happen right now. Right? If we get this close, if this candle right now that has 1 minute left, if this candle closes above this bearish candle, we have a decision making level, three candle structure in favor of where I'm looking for price to continue towards, right? Oh man, there's just no, not to mention, not to mention, we have a decision making level right here. Not to mention that we are currently on a decision making level. It's like when I see all these different pieces like add up together, and this is not just one time that I've seen this. I've seen this hundreds of times happen. It builds so much conviction and it reduces how risky I personally feel. Like when you get those emotions start working for you because you got money on the line, like I almost don't feel anything. You know what I'm saying? Like not like emotionless type, but like it doesn't feel like I'm taking a risky trade. Because there are times where I feel like, man, this one's a little bit more risky. Hands start to get sweaty and stuff. But like the more pieces I see of the puzzle together at once, the less risky I feel. But as we see, candle close just happened, and we didn't get that decision making level, which is fine. Doesn't change anything. That was just like an additional conviction point to be able to see that if it did happen. But this is looking good right here, though. Gold is giving me a nice push, nice clean push. We haven't even touched London yet. Let me see what this is looking like right here. It's about another. See, even that, like I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't take another trade from here to here. You know what I'm saying? Like 8 points. I don't need that. I can just wait for as we get down to this level, right? Let's say price does something like this. As we get down to this level, I am just gonna wait to see what price does from there, right? Because we may get something like this, and then that's the trade I'm taking, right? We may get something like this, and then boom, that's the trade I'm taking, right? Right back up to this level. You know what I'm saying? And then we just keep going back and forth. And of course, fundamentals will influence that. Fundamentals will definitely influence that. I actually want to see something. I want to see what we have below this area. Because I do agree with Q's comment about price, about gold correcting. I definitely think, I think I said this a few weeks ago, that we're gonna get so beautiful right there. Look at this. That we're gonna get gold to touch 5K by the end of the year. We're at about 33 and some change right now. All time high is about just under 3,500. So I think we'll hit 5K by the end of the year. But hour, and so as price moves and gets in between this area, what I would deem as a no trade zone, right? I'm playing the break. Be looking for something like this. That's what I'd be looking for. And so if everything plays out here like it's forecasted, ideally, as long as we get a better number than the forecast. So if we can get like a point 0.5, point 0.6, if we can get like a point 0.4, point 0.5, if that's like I definitely think we can get that move tomorrow on gold. But just on the other side of that, if we get anything less than the forecast, then I'm playing this one. I'm looking to take this if we get less than the forecast. I'm looking to take that move there. Why are these all different colors? I don't like that at all. 30%. What's going on here? All right, something's not right still. Oh, that's 50%. Let's actually turn that down. All right. Got about a minute left on this live here. And so with that being said, we will I mean, I'm not gonna be live on YouTube tomorrow morning, but if you wanna join the community, and we got a free community, so you'll be able to see like I'll share how this trade ended up tomorrow when I wake up, or if I'm still awake and I hear that chime when I'm laying down trying to, you know, get some shut eye and I hear that chime go off. That's always a good sound though. Sometimes it's not a good sound because that chime still goes off when your stop loss gets hit. But if it happens by the time I'm asleep, I'm gonna assume that it hit my take profit unless price just completely took off and went to hit my stop loss. But yeah, I'll share that in the community tomorrow morning in our profits and lessons channel. Um, with the result of this trade. But I'll set my alarm for 5 a.m. I'll be up at 5 a.m. Give me some time to get some stuff done before I get on the charts. Um, and then to see that retail sales print tomorrow morning at 5:30 and go from there. My GJ trade's still moving, getting some potential rejection, but I'm not super concerned. If we go hit my stop loss, we go hit my stop loss, and we look to take another opportunity in the morning. So losses are going to happen. That's why we refer to them as lessons in our channel, not in our channel, in our community, because losses will happen, and it's just about learning from them and using them to develop and get better and make better decisions. And so, that being said, appreciate everybody that jumped on today, and we'll catch you guys next time.